Okay, hi everybody. Welcome back to another week of Jobsticker's Job Seekers Resource Group. I hope all is well with everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And kind of forgot it was St. Patty's Day when I was putting this one together. So I appreciate you joining me. And, again, every week, and you can catch this every week after the call on YouTube. So this week, I'm going to actually be covering some unique job hunting success stories I've heard recently, and some ideas about how to think about getting creative when you're looking for work. Obviously, the easiest is to apply online and hope that they call you for an interview because you match the qualifications and we're able to kind of get through the AI and the recruiter sourced you properly and thought this person's a good fit, right? So ideally, that's what we'd like. Not to knock that, because I always say still apply online, get yourself into these career portals so that way you are top of mind and visible to the recruiters at your targeted companies that you like. And quite frankly, you never know when they might call you. It could be 6 months from now that they find you in their applicant tracking system, and that will allow for them to maybe ping you for a later role. So keep that in mind. You definitely want to do that. But here's a couple ideas I had recently seen that I thought were really neat. A friend of mine, Bogdan, told me a story about a client who wanted to get a job as a blog writer. And after doing some research, he realized that he'll most likely need to get the attention of the director of marketing or the content marketing manager. So this person realized that one of the biggest pain points of those roles were fixing broken links and making sure that they weren't weighing down on the SEO, that search engine optimization strategy that they had in place. So they were worried about all these broken links. So this candidate spent several hours running analytics on the company's website, compiled a list of all the broken links, and then didn't just stop there. They then researched where each broken link should have been pointing to, and even included several places where they could improve the links, right? So they went above and beyond, did a mini project for free, compiled a report, and put this all into a PDF that was kind of easily read and digested. So the hiring managers can kind of see exactly what this person had done, and in a linear fashion, send it to these managers, set a little message with it saying, hope this is helpful. If you ever need help with any other blog activities, I'd love to work for a company that I work for a great company like yours. Thank you. And flash forward, got the interview, got hired as a contractor that got rolled into a permanent role. So just these little neat scenarios that make you stand out. Another one I really liked, there was a junior ad copywriter who saw a post for an entry-level early career copywriter at an advertising firm in New York City where this person lived, and the candidate found the hiring manager, their information, and then went on to Venmo and sent them, the hiring manager, a request for $50,000, which was included in the job description, the actual payment. And it said $50,000 request, payment for 1 year's salary as your next copywriter. Well, what do you think the hiring manager did? The hiring manager thought, wow, that is really unique. I mean, you're getting a Venmo request for 50 grand. You might think it's a little odd, but at the same time, I think you're probably intrigued by the gumption and the creativity there. So brought that person in for an interview. That was the next copywriter that they end up hiring. These are just two ideas that I thought were really unique and just makes you kind of stand out a little bit more in this kind of cluttered job market. Another thing I've read recently, company newsletters, which I like the idea. If you are targeting a specific company that you really like and you sign up for their newsletter, they will sometimes give you the most recent information within that newsletter, or kind of things that are on the horizon. And you can leverage some of that information as part of your content, or during an interview, or even when cold messaging someone at that company. So, and also they actually sometimes will advertise openings on the newsletter that are not on Indeed or LinkedIn, and that's a fact. So keep in mind, these are little outlets you can kind of find that not only, again, keep you posted on your favorite company that you might want to work for, what they're doing and what's going on. But also you can leverage those little nuggets, like it said in the content. So if you go on to LinkedIn, go to a hiring manager at a company you like in the department that you want to work in, see what they're posting. You can chime in on that and present some of this news that you just heard from the newsletter. So again, newsletters, real quick insights that, or you can do Google News alerts. I like those as well. But newsletters sometimes will not even make Google. So, depending on what their visibility is. So keep it in mind, newsletters are really cool. Google News, again, to search for what are the most recent information that you can use in your arsenal of content, or again, during an interview or cold message. Going with content, I love authoring thought content. For me personally, it's a way to kind of be creative, also share what I know to help people, that quite frankly, you can find it from a dozen different people. But I like to kind of just keep it straight and narrow and say, here's how I feel about this topic of hiring or interviewing or resume writing, what have you. But you as a job seeker can also author thought content and use it to your advantage, because you might, let's say, you create a targeted article or a video that show off a particular skill that relates to a specific thing at that company. Maybe you saw it on a job description, an opening you really like. So maybe you create this video or article, and then you can send it to a contact at that company. And maybe even say, hey, I'm just seeing your thoughts on, my skill in relation to the targeted role, and didn't know if there's any feedback you can provide to help me improve my candidacy, and send a thank you note too, for their time. But people, they like visuals. And I've heard stories of even people after an interview sending a video to the recruiter saying, hey, I felt like I had a good interview, but at this point, I feel like it might have went off the rails a little bit. And I just want to let you know, here was my thoughts on that I couldn't quite explain during the interview. Almost like a little bit of an excuse, but I mean, really, it's over and done with. You might have heard they hired someone else. What's the harm in just sending them a quick little, hey, here's how I feel about the process or what had happened. Again, depending on your comfort level with interviewing or with putting yourself on video, these are just ideas I want to share that I have heard through my research, to constantly be finding new ways to really make yourself stand out with the cluttered kind of thing we're in right now, with all the content that's around everywhere. So, and then finally, networking when you're just starting out. I want to touch base on that briefly. So when you're networking, if you're just starting out, reach out to your current contacts, even if it's a bit small at first, and cultivate some genuine relations. I've said this before at previous shows, but you want to share valuable insights or links, or you want to comment on their posts, and your goal is to build rapport. You can even say, again, going back to my friend Bogdan, who had a nice little way of putting it in a formula where he said, how much giving are you doing and how much taking? And if you put yourself on, let's say a scale of 1 to 5 in terms of giving and taking. If you're asking from a stranger to help you out for something, and it's a big ask, that would be like a 5. If you're asking for something small, that'd be like a 1. Well, think about the reciprocation. So if you're giving them information, give yourself a positive 5. Now you are ranked a little bit higher in that relationship in terms of, not higher in terms of status, but higher in terms of your I guess allowability, is that a word? Your ability to, ask for things down the road. So keep massaging those relationships with folks that are in either where you want to be or like-minded in general, like colleagues or companies that you like, and offer that value and those tidbits that they might not be aware of. I also like joining the professional networks and relevant associations. You can choose both general and niche groups, but do the same thing then. Value transfer. I like Quora as well. I've preached them before. Quora is similar to a Reddit. You get on Quora, go and find a topic that you are interested in or that you work in, and just start seeing some of the questions people have. And as you chime in and give some of your answers and solutions, or maybe even pose you know, a whole array of things that can help the person that is in need, that people remember that. So another success story of a colleague of mine did this on Facebook. And eventually the moderator on this Facebook group hired my colleague to do content writing that ended up spinning much further down the road into like into more of a even like a side business. So, you know, you don't know where it's going to go, but the more you put yourself out there with some genuine advice and your thoughts on the topics and the matters that relate to your world, the more success I think you're going to have and a little bit more ways of standing out. And then again, you know, mark your calendar to repeat these steps. This is not something that you do once a week, you know, once a month or whatever. You got to literally be doing this day after day and put yourself out there in ether and hope that, you know, you get some karma back. Don't spin your wheels either. Continue to pound the pavement and do your strategic job hunting, you know, whatever other tasks that you have every day. But these are just some little other ideas of how you can maybe get creative on your search. So thank you again for today. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them now or in the chat. You know, I just appreciate you guys joining me today, and I'll be posting this on YouTube. So if there's no questions, and you can also ask me offline, I'm an open book, so feel free to email or message me. But otherwise, I'll be posting this on YouTube, and hope everybody has a good Patty's Day, and see you next Wednesday, 2 o'clock, and we'll dive into some more items. Next week, I'm actually having a guest on, and we're going to talk about virtual interviewing. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you. Happy St. Patty's Day again, guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tanisha.